Well, good afternoon, good evening everybody, wherever you are in the world when you're watching this. I'm at beautiful Batemans Bay and you can see the heads just out there, and of course this is a seaside community on the south coast. I wanted to bring you down here to show you an interesting art installation called Sculptures by the Sea. This was an annual event, sculptures, I think, in the Clyde, on the Clyde. This area is known as the Clyde because of the Clyde River nearby, which flows into the ocean here. And it became quite a tourist attraction. People would come down annually to see these beautiful sculptures. It was so successful that the town got together and crowdfunded to really buy these, and so here is one sculpture here. Then if I walk down here, move along the foreshore, these sculptures go all the way down the boardwalk for a kilometre or two. So I'm just rounding this bend now and you can see another one of these sculptures. Just stop for a minute, just pause and give you a look at that view. Okay, so we're coming up to another sculpture. Batemans Bay has recently redid its bridge, the old bridge that had been here forever was replaced by a brand new bridge, which you can see up in the distance. And we're coming up to our second sculpture. I'm not going to do all the sculptures, but I just want to show you a few of them. Each sculpture was designed so that no matter where you looked, you actually got a view. So the sculpture was designed not just for its art, but for its view. So let's have a look. This sculpture is titled Dance. Artist is Haruyuki Achida, and he was winner of the Sculpture for Clyde Acquisitive Award in 2018. Sculpture for the Clyde. Just beautiful, isn't it? Okay, let's move through. I think we can walk up to the next one. Now here is another one. Looks like an anchor. That's what it reminds me of. Let's take a look. Okay. So this one's called Family. The artist is Ron Gombok, and he was a major prize winner of Sculpture for Clyde in 2019. And it's part, of course, of the Batemans Bay Sculpture Walk. If you're ever in Australia, please do the Sculpture Walk. Okay, heading back now. I'm just so happy to be down by the sea. It is my happy place. For astrologers who follow my channel, I have both Venus and Neptune in Scorpio and Pisces on my midheaven. And much of my creative self-expression is triggered when I'm around water. So whether I draw or write by the sea, I find I can plumb those inner depths, which of course is what Scorpio is all about. My Neptune in Scorpio is in the 5th house, the 5th house of self-expression, artistry, creativeness. So I do love the sea. And it is such a beautiful, beautiful bay here where I am, Bateman's Bay, on the south coast of New South Wales. And coming up on that sculpture that we were recently visiting, the dance. And if I look through that, art gives us so much. It's been one of the casualties of COVID-19, whether it's performing arts or festivals, exhibitions. They've been in short and scarce supply. And yet we can learn so much when we reflect on creativity. There's something very, very soulful about creating anything. You know, whether it's watching a good knitter at work, or a spinner and weaver, or a craftsman laying mosaic tiles. It comes from a place of soul, and it is all about soul. It gives us a happiness, really a sublimeness that we can't really find when we're stuck behind a computer in a virtual world. So my wish for 2022 is to do more art. I am in the middle of painting a tarot deck. It's a big project, painting 78 cards. each one hand painted. You can see the boat heading out now on the water. But back to my tarot cards. Yeah, it's a big project, but it's a project that I love. I think what I might do is come down to the sea. I've done, I think, most of the major arcana now, and I will now start on the suits. I think when I do come to do the cups, I think I might come to the sea and get inspired by the ocean. So my wish for 2022 is that we all live more creatively and less virtually, aside from watching my videos, of course. From the soul, coming from the soul. So how do we, a spiritual perspective first, not a biblical perspective or a religious perspective, but a spiritual perspective, which takes in and accounts for all. That's a big phrase. How do we live more creatively? How do we live more creatively, please? So we have the upper world, which is spirituality. This is actually the zodiac with all the signs. It's funny we should draw that. This tarot does take into astrology. We're right on the solar eclipse in Sagittarius on the 3rd, 4th of December. Upper world, creatively, shifting your perspective. And you can do that through meditation, regular short meditations, allowing spirit to touch your life in any way that is meaningful for you, whether that's walking along a path, as I did today with butterflies crisscrossing my path, whether it's a swim in the ocean. It's about understanding universal law. It's about understanding karma, the cause and effect, your actions, how they impact on others, and taking responsibility and account of that. Living a spiritual life, letting the light through, not the darkness of ego, but the light through. We have Medicine Mask operating authentically. Operating authentically. It's an interesting card. I do like this card because we all wear a mask one way or another. So the upper world and the mask, nobody's fooled. Nobody's getting fooled with this card. In fact, it's one of the things that people pick up straight away, and that's, whether someone's authentic or not, whether someone's wearing a mask. Got North and Solitude. There's an interesting perspective here. It's both a hopeful perspective and it's also almost like the Hermit card, introspection, solitude, reflection. I mean, we could fill ourselves up with all the busyness in the world, but true creativity comes from reflection and introspection and those deep dives that I was talking about into the essence of who we are. And we have protection, medicine shield. I think understanding that we've got divine protection when we live a spiritual life. I asked, how do we live more creatively? And the answer that these cards are giving me is live a spiritual life. At the base of the pack, we have the Death card, letting go, that's Scorpio energy, letting go of what no longer serves you, transmigration, moving to somewhere else, shifting into the light, almost like follow your calling. So living a spiritual life opens up, I guess, an identification of where your creative talents lie, or creative abilities, or innate creative desires, and then brings support to you. What you seek, you will find. Okay, sorry for that noise. Let's just pull some cards here. What you seek, you shall find. That's an interesting interruption that came there. Okay. All right. It reminds me that fear attracts. What you fear, it's like it's like a magnet. So understanding your fears and how what you're fearful of and why is really important. I know this is a deep dive and a long way around to how we live creatively, but I think it's worth it. How do we live creatively? How do we live creatively? The world. I mean, this is the cosmos. This is understanding that we're all part of something bigger. Changing our perspective. If we're not willing to do that, we're just going to get blinkered. This is about freedom to express who you are. It's really interesting that we've got to just get past or get through or eliminate the thorns that keep holding us back from that rose. The Empress card, Mother Earth, Gaia, nature, harvesting what? Harvesting after you've done all this work, the harvest comes. Eliminating toxicity, old patterns. It's like mice on a wheel. They'll just keep going round and round and round and round until you get on top of them, until you eliminate them. You need almost like free space, not operating from the ego, Five of Wands. Not operating from the ego, not being competitive in any way. So many, such a thorny path that we tread, isn't it? And then once we have eliminated all that, we've got the Fool. So we take a leap of faith. It's almost like when we're cluttered up with all sorts of patterns, things that don't work for us, insecurities, ego-based concerns. There's not enough light, there's not enough freedom there to actually be creative. I mean, if you look at creation energy, It has to be pure. It has to be light driven. All things must be equal. Queen of Pentacles, stability, simplicity. Nodes moving into Taurus and Scorpio will be really interesting. To me, that Death card, where was it? The Death card is Scorpionic energy. And we've got Taurus, Capricorn, Earth energy here. Cycles. So much to learn about how to live creatively. But here are some of the ways that we can do that. Finishing old cycles, beginning new ones. And we've got the King of Cups, emotional wisdom. So important, so important. So we've got more of a chance of living creatively when we work on ourselves and we give ourselves enough space to allow things naturally to come forward and create a new direction for us, and one which might be a leap of faith. Let's take a look. One more message. One more message. What lies beyond the leap of faith? Seven of Pentacles, something new, another way of doing things, review, and a new plan. Six of Cups, higher selves. Really, it's like the essence, which does lie in the past. We just have unlearnt it. Go back to your childhood when you were happy doing something creative, and that'll give you an idea of what you should be doing. Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving help. You'll get what you need at the time that you need it when you live creatively, and things will move quickly. It's like things will just take off. You know what that Chariot card is? It's your divine purpose, and that's where your creativity lies. The Lovers and the Queen of Swords. You can see the energy that is needed. So I'm going to leave that there. Let me know what is where your creativity lies, and I'll be back with another video again soon. Thank you.